Hi, thank you everyone for coming today. My name is Brandon Grant. I'm the Marketing Director here at QuoteWerks. Today we're going to be showing you how to set up and then demonstrate how to use the Dell Punchout credentials or the Dell Punchout integration. This integration is available in version 5.1, so you would need to update in order to get access to it, and there's some credentials you'll have to put in and request from Dell, but we'll show you how to get that all set up and how to request those credentials here in just a moment. Just a couple of things to keep in mind. As I'm going over anything, if you do have questions, there is a questions kind of like box area in the GoToMeeting where you can post your questions and I'll respond to them. If I don't get to your question immediately, don't worry. I'm going to take questions at the end and I'll make sure and circle back and answer any questions that anyone had previously posted. So, you know, if you're posting and you have a couple questions about different things, like I said, don't worry. I'll try to answer them as I go along. But if I don't get to yours immediately, I will circle back at the end of the meeting, make sure we cover those. So just a quick overview. Today we're going to do just a very short PowerPoint presentation, just about 4 or 5 slides just to kind of get you up to speed about the Dell Punchout integration, kind of what it is. So we'll just be discussing that, and then we'll actually go through the demonstration of the features and how to set it up. It's a very simple integration to set up. It's a very simple integration to use. So hopefully everything will be very clear today as we kind of go through it. Okay, so what is the Dell Punchout integration? So Dell's actually created a new platform that allows other programs to interface with it and to take order requisitions directly from the Dell Premier site and pull them into your system. So QuoteWerks has created that integration. So we're using specifically their API calls and pulls that they allow us to pull this data from Dell into QuoteWerks, so we can actually pull these order requisitions. It does require the real-time module, so if you are using like Edelweiss or you have integrations with like Tech Data, Ingram, Synex, D&H, ASI, Jenny, some of the other distributors that we're using, ScanSource, and you have the real-time module, you'll be able to use this integration. If you don't have the real-time module, you can sign up for a free trial, and we'll let you test it out, see if that's something that you want to do. These credentials, in order to use the Punchout integration, are specific to QuoteWerks, and they are different than like your Dell Premier website login. So you're not actually going to be able to use your website credentials to log in to use the Punchout integration. Like I said, it's a specific platform that Dell developed, so you're going to have to request your credentials. You can see I've posted it here. This is the email address to contact them, and it's just premierconnect_QuoteWerks@Dell.com, and then just let them know that you're looking for credentials for your account. They'll probably ask for your account information up front, but then once you get those credentials, you can put them into QuoteWerks, and I'll show you how to do it. Very, very easy. Setup will take you probably about 30 seconds as long as you have the real-time module. It's very simple to do. So what the integration does is it's going to allow you to import Dell Premier order requisitions directly into QuoteWerks. A lot of times these order requisitions, for the items that are on the order requisitions, they also include kind of like the marketing summaries or the more lengthy discussions. We do pull those in as well. We'll pull them into the custom memo 01 field. We do get the question a lot if the pictures are supported. They're not. That's something that we'll look to add. I don't believe the API call is available yet for us to do that we're only able to pull text at this time, but it is something we're going to look at expanding once that becomes available. This is a pretty new format for Dell, this whole platform change, something they've been working on for a couple of years. So it's still kind of you know, growing and evolving at this point. Additionally, once you've pulled in that order requisition into QuoteWerks, you would be able to place the order directly through QuoteWerks to Dell. So you'll actually be able to submit your orders from QuoteWerks into Dell as long as you're pulling that order requisition in. So it's going to save you a lot of time where you're not having to go back into Dell and then order the items. You can actually do it all directly through QuoteWerks. So pretty cool feature, and we'll make sure to touch on that today as well. And I got a couple questions. Some people saying that they're going to have to leave early. Yes, if you are leaving early, we are going to record this and post it on the website if you can't stay for the entire thing. Resources for the website or just for QuoteWerks in general. Obviously the website's a great resource for that, but we have videos on there, help file information. All the webinars are recorded and posted on the website. We also have the users forum, which is a great place to interact with other QuoteWerks users, so I highly recommend checking that out. And then if you're looking for any kind of local help or anything like that, we do have partners around the world that can assist with specific QuoteWerks functionality, either developing something for you or just kind of working with them for training information. And as always, feel free to contact us by phone or email for any support. So if you have questions or just need assistance, we're always here to help, so definitely feel free to utilize that. All right, so like I said, very, very, very short PowerPoint presentation. So we're just going to get into the setup of the Dell integration first. So again, if you don't have the real-time module, you're not going to see this next screen. That's okay, just kind of follow along with me. But what you're going to do is under your Tools menu in QuoteWerks, you're going to click on the Options menu. And then from the Options menu, you're going to click on your Real-Time tab. So you see the Real-Time tab right here. Like I said, if you don't see that tab, just means you don't have the Real-Time module, but we can set you up with the free trial of the Real-Time module so that you can test this out. Once we click on Real-Time, we're just going to click on Real-Time Setup, and then it's going to be very straightforward from here. Simply click on Dell. You can see that Dell has their own tab, and then you're just going to put in your own username and password. Now, as you can see here, we do put a note saying that these are not the same credentials as your Dell Premier credentials. These are different. These are going to be specific to your Punchout integration, so you do need to request these from Dell. I'm going to post the email address again in the email blast that we'll do once this webinar is posted on the website, so that you can request those. But I believe it's just premierconnect_QuoteWerks@dell.com. So again, we'll be posting that for you so you have a chance to request those credentials. You add your credentials in here. They may or may not give you a URL. It's going to be specific to your region. So you may get one, you may not get one. It's basically just how your account's configured. It's not necessarily required. This is not specific to any general region, which I mean by that is that basically the Dell integration should actually work for pretty much anywhere there's Dell support. So it should work in the US, in Canada, in the UK, Australia, pretty much anywhere you have access to the Dell Premier Partner Portal, you should be able to use this, these credentials. That's kind of why they went to this platform, is it makes it very easy for them to manage because it's something all the countries are going to be using. So again, just have to request your credentials, and then they should just drop into QuoteWerks and you'll be able to use them. This product setup, this item requisition field, each item is going to have a unique identifier for it, so it's going to be placed into custom text 20. You can change this if you'd like. For most of you, you're probably not using the custom text 20 field. That's why we set it as the default. But if you are using that field for something else, then you can select one of the other custom text fields to have this information go into. It's not something that you need to show the client. It's not important to them. It's just something that QuoteWerks needs in order to place the orders with Dell. So just keep that in mind. If you're using that field, then go ahead and change it. If you're not using it, then you can go ahead and just leave it as custom text 20. So once you've entered in your credentials, you're going to see a change to your grid toolbar. So on the QuoteWerks Document Items tab, you'll see this is what we refer to as the toolbar. You're going to see a new icon all the way to the right. It's just going to have the little Dell icon, and you can see if you hover over it, it'll tell you this is how you're going to import your Dell Premier order requisition. So let's go ahead and go walk through these steps. We're going to click on this icon. It's going to bring up our Dell Premier order requisition form. And like I said, this can be very easy. It's going to be a very quick walkthrough where you're basically saying, okay, QuoteWerks has to open the Dell Premier site for you. So what that means is you can't log into Dell and then create the order requisition in Dell and then import it in QuoteWerks. You actually have to follow these steps. So when you want to create a new order requisition, you just need to do it through QuoteWerks first. So we're going to click on Open Dell Premier Website. And you can see here it's going to launch my web browser, and then it's going to connect with Dell in order to place this order. So it'll bring us to our Dell Premier page. It's going to log us in, and then you can see here, bring us to our Dell Premier page. So from here, you're just going to do the normal process of building your order requisition, of adding those items to your shopping cart. So I'm just going to go ahead and select a couple items here that they already have pre-selected for me. So go ahead and we'll add that item. And then if we want to continue shopping, we can do that. And we'll go ahead and we'll add a couple other items here. We'll just go to notebooks here. We'll just add 2 or 3 more items to our document before we move forward. Let's go ahead and this one looks good. We'll just add this first one. So I'm just going to show you a couple examples. All right, so we'll start off with these two items first. So we have these two items in our quote. You'll see you have these product details, which is going to be kind of like the lengthier description of these items. This is what's going to pull into QuoteWerks, is that information. So if it includes more information than just kind of like the basic description, we're going to pull that in the custom memo field 01, which I'll show you here in just a moment. So we're going to click on Create Order Requisition. And then you just need to follow the instructions up to this point. So you choose your shipping option, choose trade compliance, continue. And then once you get here, all you have to do is click on Submit Order Requisition. Now once you click on Submit Order Requisition, it's going to be ready to be imported into QuoteWerks. You'll actually get even a confirmation page from QuoteWerks saying, hey, this order requisition was created. Now you can import this into QuoteWerks. So if we go back into QuoteWerks, you'll see the second step. So the first step was we opened the Premier page. Second step was select and add your items to the shopping cart, which we did. And the third step was to create the order requisition, which we did also. So last one, we just need to import the items into the quote. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And you can see here it adds those items to my document. So I'm just going to delete this extra line here so you can see it. So here's our items. If we go to Custom Memo 01, which is right here, and I double click on that, you'll see it includes all the basically specs of this particular item that we are adding to the document. So this is that information that's going to show up on the document if you want it to. You just have to display that Custom Memo 01 field on your layout. So for my document, if I go back in here and I get ready to deliver this to my client, click on Deliver, and then let's go ahead and preview this page here. Here I have my item, and then I have my lengthy description. So you kind of have to play around with it. Might not be something that you want to show. This one's a little more manageable where it doesn't have quite as much. But you can see it pulls all that information into the quote, and it's something you can choose whether or not you want to appear on the document. So if you don't want to include that additional information, you don't have to. Since it is pulled into the custom memo field, you can obviously customize it as needed. So if you just double click on it, it'll actually show you that information, and you can pull that into the document. So just a couple questions that I see. I get a couple repeat questions, so I'll go ahead and answer those real quick. So this is going to be available in version 5.1 or later. So you need to be on QuoteWerks version 5.1 in order to use this integration. Specifically, version 5.1 also includes the ability to place the online order with Dell. So if you're not on version 5.1, you just need to upgrade in order to use this functionality. If your maintenance is expired, then just let us know. We can send you a quote so you can get upgraded to the latest version so you can use this. A couple options, or a couple questions that I'm seeing people asking if you're getting test credentials. You shouldn't need test credentials, but they might want you to just test it out first. I'm not sure. Ours are obviously test credentials. They're just demo credentials, so it might be a little different than what you're seeing, but it should operate very similarly. Okay, so once you have the document, you can make any changes that you need to, just like you normally would in QuoteWerks. So if you're going to insert your heading lines, if we're going to say this is our Dell items, and then if you're adding other items to the document at that time, you can do that. So if you have other items that you want to include, we'll just go ahead and add a couple other items on here. You can do it. You're going to be able to make any changes that you want to, save your document, and then upload it to QuoteValet, or if you're emailing it to your client, you can do that as well. Once we upload it to QuoteValet, I'll show you what it'll look like on QuoteValet. It's going to look whatever your templates, however your template is set up in QuoteValet as well. So if we preview our document, you're going to see the item's just going to come over. And in this case, we're not showing that custom memo information. We're just showing the item that they purchased. And the client can sign off on it. So in order to place the order for these particular items, any quote in QuoteWerks that is a quote needs to be converted to an order for you to be able to place the order online through Dell. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on File, Convert to Order. We'll hit OK. And that's going to change our status or our document from a quote to an order, so you can see it here. And now we're able to actually go through with the purchasing. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the purchasing side of things here. So I'm going to click on Purchasing. And you'll see here we have the option to select Dell as our vendor, select our 2 items, and then you'll see Place Online Order will be available. Again, you'll have the real-time module, so this will be available to you as well because it includes both. The Dell order requisition integration, where you can just create the order requisitions, and then also the online ordering. So it's going to come with both when you have the real-time module. So we'll click on Place Online Order. And then the purchase order info is going to have a little bit of information for you. We're going to, by default, assign it a PO number. You can change this if you'd like. If you don't change it manually, then QuoteWerks is just going to assign it automatically for you. The PO description and the PO ref ID are just QuoteWerks fields, and that's why we put a little QW next to them so that you know those are only going to be QuoteWerks reference fields. This allows you, when we create the purchase order in QuoteWerks, if you want to search for it by this specific information, you're able to do so. So if you have like a job number or just a description of it, you can easily find it. And then you're going to have 2 payment options. You're going to be able to pay by terms or credit card. If you have terms set up with Dell and you always pay by terms, you can leave that option selected. If not, you can select credit card, and you'll just need to put your credit card information here into this form. And then once you do that, you'll also want to fill out the second tab, which is going to be the shipping and bill to locations, where you're actually going to choose essentially where these items are going to and who's being billed for it. On the copy from, you can choose from anyone on the sold to, shipped to, or billed to of any of the items on the order. So if you're placing an order for multiple items from different orders and kind of compiling them into a single order so you get maybe a better shipping rate, then you might want to have them shipped to your location, to your office. If not, if you want them to go to the individual companies, you'll just need to place them individually. So if you are compiling a purchasing for company A, B, and C, and everything's going to come to you, then you can compile those into a single purchase order. If they need to go to a company A and company B and company C, then you'll want to make sure that you separate those, that you do those manually each. So company A's items are only for company A, company B is on their own order, and company C is on their own order. So just keep that in mind when you're selecting the shipping and bill to location. You need to decide where you want these items to actually be shipped to. And again, you can also choose your location, which would be in QuoteWerks. A lot of companies don't necessarily have this filled out if you're not using the purchasing module. So the Our Location is pulled from the Tools Options menu. There's a Company tab or an Our Company tab, and that's the shipping information that we're using. So you'll want to fill that out, and it says specifically that it is for shipping information. So put in your contact information, select where it's being it's going to be shipped to, same thing where it's going to be billed to, and it's going to provide you the same results. You can choose who you need to bill, and you can fill that information out. And then once you have that information filled out, you're actually ready to place the order in QuoteWerks. This is live, so I can't actually submit the order, but you can see it's going to be very straightforward. You just validate the order, and that's just basically going to send some information to Dell to make sure that everything's right. Part numbers are correct, pricing is correct, everything that you had in the document is correct. And then once it validates the order, you can simply submit it, and then we will create a PO in QuoteWerks for you for this information. So again, very straightforward, very easy to use integration, very easy to set up. So those are usually the best ones where you don't have to do too much. There's not really any training on it. You just kind of follow the 4 steps in importing it. And then the online ordering is also very simple. Just kind of fill out the forms, validate, and submit. So we have a lot of questions coming in. I'm just going to take a step back and go ahead and follow up on some of those. We can go through and do another example as well if you guys want to see some of that. So I'm just going to go through some of these questions here. So one of the big part we see is that asking about the e-quotes. So if you have Dell e-quotes, if you're able to pull them into QuoteWerks using this integration. We are, but you actually have to use it through the Dell integration. So if you already have the e-quote saved in your Premier portal, then you click on your Dell button here, click on Open Dell Premier website, and then once we get to the Dell Premier website, there's an option for your e-quotes. So if we go to, just wait for it to log us in here. So you see there's an option for e-quotes. So you'd be able to basically convert an e-quote to an order requisition, and then we could pull it into QuoteWerks. Now, if you just received an email quote from Dell, that's not going to work because it actually has to come through their integration, the Punchout platform. So the way to do that is basically, if you were emailed a quote, it's probably set up as an e-quote, and then you should be able to pull it in through your e-quote section. Just basically have to open it, go to the cart, and then submit it as an order requisition rather than this e-quote document. So that's the way that you could do it. I don't have any examples because we're not set up as a partner with them. We just have demo credentials, but that's how it would work. Is click on e-quotes, find the quote that you're looking for, open it up in your Premier page here, create it as an order requisition, and then you can submit it and import it into QuoteWerks. So, and yeah, so I see a lot of questions about asking if it's going to take in those saved quotes. Yeah, if they've already been created for you and you have access to them in your Dell Premier site, then yes, we'll be able to pull them in. If Dell actually just emails you the quote, you won't be able to use that. You can use the quote importer to pull the quote into QuoteWerks if you wanted to, but that's not going to let you place the orders. So if you are wanting to place the orders, you will need to use the Punchout credentials, and you have to pull the quotes in through the Dell integration icon here. You know, I really can't stress that enough. That's how the whole integration works. So just keep that in mind. You know, as you're starting to use the Punchout integration, that's where that information needs to pull from. That's how it's going to be pulled directly into QuoteWerks. Okay, so let me just make sure that got through some of the information. Okay, so a couple more questions about the version you need to be on. You need to be on version 5.1. I think if you're just on version 5.1 or later, build 1 or later, you should be fine. I think that's when we added the Dell ordering integration. So as long as you're on version 5.1, you should be fine. Right now, the latest version is 5.1 build 4.33. So you can always update to that just to be sure. But I believe the Dell ordering portion of this was released in version 5.1 build 1. Again, these are Punchout credentials that you're going to have to request through Dell themselves in order to get that information. So as far as the integration goes, that's really all there is to it. It is, like I said, very easy to set up and very easy to use. I'm going to step through those steps just one more time because I did get quite a few questions about the setup and then, you know, how to pull that information in. So anyone that may have came in late and you missed that part, we're just going to go through the setup very quickly. It's very easy. So the Punchout credentials you do have to request from Dell. That is something that's going to be specific. So you need to email premierconnect_QuoteWerks@Dell.com. So it's premierconnect_QuoteWerks@Dell.com. And request your Punchout credentials for QuoteWerks, and you'll be able to drop them into QuoteWerks. Again, you need the real-time module to use this integration. That's going to be placed under Tools, Options, and then click on your real-time tab. If you don't have the real-time tab, that means you don't have the real-time module, so just keep that in mind that you need to have that module installed. Click on real-time setup, click on the Dell tab, and then you just put in your username and password and possibly a URL. It is optional, so they may not provide you with one, and that's fine. You won't necessarily need one. And then what we talked about with the item requisition field is this is needed for the ordering through QuoteWerks. So we default to custom text 20. It's not something you're going to show the client. They don't need to see it. It's just something that we need internally for this document. For these different items here, if you're already using the custom text 20, just go ahead and click on the drop-down. You can choose one of the other fields to pull it into. It doesn't matter to us. We just need to have that information in each line item so we can place the online orders. And then once you have that, that's all there is to the setup. You'll have your Dell icon will appear. It should appear immediately. You shouldn't have to even close QuoteWerks or restart it. You may need to close an existing quote and just start with a brand new quote for it to show up. But it should just pop up on your document item screen on this grid toolbar here. It should just have your icon. And then again, just click on the icon. Click on Open Dell Premier website, and then just follow the steps. So just select the items, add them to the shopping cart, create the order requisition, and then once you submit the order requisition, you'll be able to import the items into the quote. You'll get the confirmation page from QuoteWerks. Once your order has been created, it'll look just like this splash screen here, and it'll say, hey, this Dell order requisition was created. Now you can go ahead and pull them into QuoteWerks. Once they've been pulled into QuoteWerks, it's just like any other line item on a document. You can make any changes that you need to. So if you need to adjust the pricing, the item description, if you want to add a picture, do anything to the items here, run subtotals, all that, this is where you can make those changes, deliver the document to the client, have the client accept it. Once the client accepts it, if you're going to be doing the ordering out of QuoteWerks, this is a very important step. You have to convert that quote to an order. So if you're not familiar with doing that, it's not part of your process. Under the File menu is where the option is to convert to order. Mine's grayed out because I've already done it, but if I hadn't done it, when I click File, Convert to Order, that would change my quote from a quote document to an order. So that'll be the process of being able to place that order with Dell from QuoteWerks. So once you've converted your quote to an order, customer move forward with it, you can click on your purchasing icon. The purchasing is also available under your Tools menu. So if you don't see the purchasing icon, or you'd rather go under through the menu, just click on Tools, Purchasing, and then that'll open up the purchasing window. And then you'll be able to, if you had the order open previously, you'll be able to see it here by this currently open order, and we can select our items. You can also batch multiple orders. So if we click on the multiple orders option and you set your vendor to Dell, you can see a list of all Dell items that are going to, that can be placed. Like I said, you can batch them together. So if you are creating a PO for multiple orders, that's fine. We can do that. Just keep in mind, when it comes to the shipping, you're probably going to want everything shipped to your location, because if you're mixing and matching for multiple companies, you can't tell Dell to excuse me, you can't tell Dell to say, okay, these 3 items go to this company, and these 3 items go to this company, and these 3 items go to this company. It doesn't work that way. You'll have to either have everything shipped to you, or you'll have to just do them individually instead. So it'll just be up to you. But when you place the online order, you just need to go through and fill out the purchase order info. Very straightforward, where you just put in the PO number, description, reference ID. If you don't have a PO number you want to do, you can always click on the ellipsis button here, and QuoteWerks will automatically populate a PO number for you. And then select your payment method, terms, and credit card. Your shipping and bill to information, just go ahead and fill that out. And then validate the order and then submit it. And like I said, mine's live, so I can't actually do that right now, but you can validate it and then submit it, and that'll submit it to Dell on your behalf. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have for the integration. We have a ton of questions coming in, so I'm going to circle back through and get all the questions that everyone has posted. If you don't have any more questions, thank you for attending today. And then, if you want to try it out, if you don't have the real-time module, just let us know. Again, that email address, I see that email or that question still popping up, is going to be premierconnect_QuoteWerks@Dell.com. So premierconnect_QuoteWerks@Dell.com, and you can request your punch-out credentials from Dell. So thanks for coming. Any of you that have posted comment, just hang tight. I'm going to circle back here and go through these questions and answer them for you.